Hi, I'm Ice Cream Man. I'm a streamer on YouTube for Link to the Past and Super Mario Maker, and I use a lot of the tools that the Warp World community has put together very extensively. And they've got a new version of crowd control that I haven't found any video tutorials like they've had in the past, so I'm just kind of making one myself to kind of fill in the gaps until they have the official ones. But okay, so let's go through the website and talk about changes to Warp World since the previous version. So the previous version, you had to set up the Lua scripts and connections more manually. The new app that they made is really awesome because it automates a whole lot of the stuff that you had to do previously. But that means that in simplifying the process, it's changed a little bit. So if you're used to the old way, there's a new way to do things, and we're going to go through the whole process here. So when you get to the Warp World, the crowd control webpage, you'll have this nice UI here. They have a setup guide, a link to download it, more information, the same information for the setup guide, FAQ, forums, and when you log in, you'll have your own personal dashboard here as well. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to download this, but before I do that, let's actually kind of talk through the setup guide itself that they have laid out here. It's very well documented. It provides you basically all the information that you need. So the first thing that they suggest that you do is install the crowd control Twitch extension. This is what your users are going to be interacting with in order to buy the coins with bits to spend in whichever game you're streaming. So you can go here, and then it'll prompt you to install crowd control. Once you do, you can go to configure, and then in order to have it active on your stream, what you need to do is you need to change this to an overlay here. So now it's activated. So none of the other ones here are activated. And then when you don't want it anymore, if you're playing a different game that's not using crowd control, you can just deactivate it. Okay. So that's that. So coming back over here, we got our Twitch extension set up. And of course, all of these things you need to have your credentials set up first. So make an account, and then you'll be able to do these things. So the next thing that they talk about here is actually installing the desktop application. So that's going to be the link that is over here for download. Then after that is the configuration. So all the stuff that follows after this is really important, and this is the reason why a lot of people have difficulty with having things set up properly, because a lot of the pathing needs to be set manually. So then you do that. I'm doing this on emulator, so I'm not going to talk at all about hardware. And then this is information for starting the game. I highly recommend reading all of this, because this is the way that I learned how to do this. And then another important part of the setup is that once you have BizHawk is the emulator that crowd control works with. Once you have it, you need to manually set the correct cores. I'll show you guys how to do that in a second. And something interesting that I didn't know about until I read all the way to the bottom here is that they actually output a log file of all of the purchases. So what you can do with this is you can do some more customization with your overlay for your stream. If you want to have like something that's animated or something, you can put in some custom CSS or something to reference this particular log file. Okay, so a couple of other things that are on here before I really get going. So they have a really nice FAQ here, and so this is just an example of one of the pages that they have discussing some new games that they'd like to add to crowd control. The ones that they've been thinking about are actually, these are actively in the work, so they're working on getting these ones in. So that's the forum, and then there's also the FAQ. So the FAQ will answer a lot of the very common questions that you might have, both about the setup and about how crowd control works, and how the Warp World community is funded through the purchases made by bits, and so on. So that's that. So one more thing, Warp World, the community has a Discord server, so you can interact with them in more real time in Discord. That's the nice thing about Discord. And they're pretty active in here. So if you have questions, or you want to post clips from your streams when you use crowd control, this is a great place for that. Okay. And then while I'm on Discord, one more really quick shout out to somebody else that I found in the community really recently, and that's Jeff. Let me see. That's Jeff I have too many Discord servers. Hold on, give me 1 second. That's Jeff D. So Jeff D has been kind of working independently, using some of the software that the Warp World team has put together to make his own games that integrate with crowd control. So he's testing crowd control for Doom. Half-Life 2 is one that I'm especially excited about, and single player for GTA 5. So if you're interested in these particular games, Jeff's kind of working independently, but I know that he's been in contact with Jaku as well, so they're working together. But for Jeff's particular projects, I know that he needs a little bit of support in terms of play testing. So that's something I'm going to be doing to help him out. And if you're interested in these games, I'm going to link his Discord server here. Okay, so now that we've gone through all of the nuts and bolts, let's actually get into how it is that we're going to get crowd control set up. So like I said, you're going to go here. After you've installed the Twitch extension, you're going to go to the desktop application, install this, download it, usual kind of stuff. When you have that downloaded, what you're going to do is you're going to run crowd control. I have it installed already, so I'm just going to pull it up. And then you're going to be greeted with this nice UI. So this is like one of the really big changes that they've had since the previous version. So it's really well made. I'm really impressed with the work that these guys have done. Really awesome job. So one of the really important things that you need to do is you need to tell Warp World where your emulator is. So the way that you do that is you go over to this tab that's for configure, and then you go to BizHawk emulator, and then you click browse, nice UI, brings up a file explorer. I don't remember exactly where mine is, but when you find where yours is, you can click on that folder, and then it'll bring you right there. Okay, so I just had to take a second to find the folder that I was looking for. But when you're configuring this path and directing crowd control to where your BizHawk is installed, this is the folder where this EmuHawk is. Okay, so this was something that confused me a little bit because I'm like, where's BizHawk? It's actually EmuHawk. So the folder that you want is where you have this. Okay, so then you have your path for your emulator set up. The next thing that you want to do for the game that you're playing is you need a path to the ROM. So mine is just by default my download folder. I downloaded one already, so I'm good to go actually. So all of this is set up. Now I can go to my game selection. I can go to the SNES Link to the Past randomizer. That's what I tend to play. Click start, and now here's I forgot something. So before you can actually start playing, you're also going to need to set the cores for BizHawk. So just to show this side by side with the instructions right here. So the instructions right here list what cores you need to have set. So the way you're going to do that is you're going to go to config when you have BizHawk open, and then you're going to go to cores, and then NAS needs to be SNES needs to be BS SNES or BSNES, and GBA needs to be Gambit. Okay, so I don't know what any of these things are, but they just have to be set up the right way. Okay, so then once you have all of that set up, what's different about this than the old version, and I think this is something that might confuse people, is crowd control actually launches BizHawk. You don't have to open it beforehand. In fact, you don't want to open it beforehand. So you see how I don't have BizHawk open at all. Once everything's configured, so you have the path correct for your ROM and your emulator, you go to game selection, click start, and then once you do that, launch BizHawk. Okay, and then you're pretty much ready to go. I think I didn't miss anything, but so what you'll see is it'll launch your game. It'll launch your game, and the old Lua console that you have to manually set is also here. You want to make sure that you don't close this. If you close that, I lost my window. If you close that, then things break. So you need to make sure that that's set up. So that's pretty much it for the setup. So I do want to say a huge shout out to Jaku and the Crowd Control and Warp World team. You guys literally make my stream possible. I would not be streaming and enjoying as much as I am without the level of interactivity that I have with chat that the software that you guys make provides. So definitely big shout out to Jaku and the Crowd Control team. Definitely follow their streams. Check out the Crowd Control, this is a Warp World Discord server. This is where you can talk about all of the projects that they're working on, help them out with their software. Because at the end of the day, these guys they're independent developers. They want their software to be as good as possible, and the only way that they can really do that is by getting feedback from users and finding out where things aren't quite working right, or maybe the community has ideas for things to implement in new versions. Talking to them and helping them out is ultimately going to make the software that we use right now and that supports our streams even better. Okay. And then last thing, just on me. So like I said, I'm Ice Cream Man. I'm a streamer of Mario Maker and Link to the Past randomizer. And something that's really important to me, and you can see from this video even, that I'm all about improving my stream and then helping other people improve their stream and learning about all of the various coding languages and software that goes into streaming and doing it effectively. So I'm going to link my Discord channel. This is brand new. I started this earlier this week or last week, and there's this section for improve your stream. I'll probably update this based on the needs of the community, but like I said, this is something that's really personally important to me. This is how I interact with the community, is to help folks out. So that's going to be it. Again, huge shout out to Jaku and the Warp World team. You guys are awesome. And yeah, that's going to be it. Take it easy.